Did you know that if your baby is awake too long or not long enough, then your baby's not going to take a great nap or sleep well at nighttime? The hard thing to do is to figure out how long is long enough, how long is too long, what was too short. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to accurately calculate your baby's wake time length so you can get that figured out. But before we go too far into it, I'd like to introduce myself. Hello, my name is Valerie. I blog at babywisemom.com. I've been blogging there since the year 2007. I am the mother to 4 children who currently range in age from 9 to 16 years old. I love helping parents, love being parents. I help helping moms, love motherhood. So all of my videos, all of my posts are geared towards helping you just love being a parent. And of course, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Let's talk about the basics of calculating your baby's wake time length. So we're talking about the time that your baby is awake between naps or between the last nap and bedtime. You start calculating your baby's wake time length when your baby wakes up, and you stop counting that awake time when you put your baby down for a nap. It's not when your baby falls asleep at nap time or bedtime, it's when you put your baby down for a nap. As you are calculating baby's awake time, it does include your baby's feeding time. So the time your baby spends eating, yes, it does count towards your baby's awake time. So feeding time is part of your baby's awake time. This is true even if you have a brand newborn who takes 45 minutes to eat. So even if your baby takes a really long time to eat, yes, that counts toward your baby's awake time. Let's talk a little bit more about wake time ends when your baby goes down for a nap, not when your baby falls asleep. So if you put your baby down for a nap at 2 p.m. and your baby takes until 2:30 p.m. to fall asleep, you still count your baby's wake time ending at 2 p.m. There are a lot of reasons for this. The purpose of you calculating this wake time length is to find your baby's ideal wake time. You're looking for that perfect time when your baby will fall asleep easily, will fall asleep quickly, will fall asleep without fussing, and take a really great nap. You're looking for a 1.5 to 2.5 hour nap ideally, except for the last nap of the day, which often is only 30 to 60 minutes long. So your purpose in calculating your wake time is to find that perfect time. So when you put your baby down for a nap, you can't try to account for, I wonder how long it's going to take my baby to fall asleep, because if your wake time was too long, your baby's going to take 45 minutes to fall asleep potentially, or that can even happen if your wake time wasn't long enough. But if you have it perfect, then your baby will fall asleep anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes after you put your baby down. So the point is, we're figuring out how long is baby awake before I put my baby in the crib for the next sleep session, and what length of time works perfectly in order to get baby to fall asleep quickly and to stay asleep well for that next sleep session. Now here's a question people often have. So if I put my baby down and my baby takes 30 minutes to fall asleep, I'm not counting that as sleep time. I'm not counting that as awake time. What am I counting it as? It's nothing. So you don't count it as awake time. You don't count it as nap time. It's just unaccounted time, essentially. Here's one really interesting and important note. There was a time in history when we didn't have video monitors. And that was actually true for me for my first 2 babies. I have children who are old enough that they existed before people had video monitors. So I didn't know if I put my baby down for a nap, my first 2 babies, if I put them down for a nap and they very quietly laid in their bed for 30 minutes before they fell asleep and didn't make a single peep, then I would have counted their nap as starting 30 minutes earlier because I didn't know for sure if they were awake or not. So I actually had to do some relearning in calculating when I had a video monitor with my 3rd baby. And I was able to utilize that information with my 4th baby. So sometimes ignorance is bliss. Sometimes you put a baby down and they just happily and very quietly are in their bed for a while before falling asleep, and you have no idea. And so you just think everything's perfect and happy and wonderful. And in reality, they're rolling around having a grand old, very quiet time. So you have to decide how much attention you're going to pay to the video monitor or not. I liked it. I feel like it gave me additional information and helped me really hone in more. You may find it too stressful. You do what works for you. You can absolutely do it both ways. You don't even need an audio monitor. You want to be able to hear your baby, of course. But we usually can hear our baby in our homes while we're awake without a monitor because we can hear them. So babies are loud enough. We can hear them if they're crying out and need our help. You need to decide how much monitor use you are or are not going to have, and you also have to figure out how to account for that monitor use in your calculations. The next really big question people have is, what do I do when my baby awakes early but is staying in the crib? Does that count as baby awake time? Does that count as nap time? Is that unaccounted time? So let's remember, at the beginning I said baby awake time starts when your baby wakes up, not when your baby gets out of the crib. So as soon as your baby's awake and you're aware that your baby's awake, you want to start counting that as baby awake time. But here's the tricky thing. Awake time in the crib is not necessarily equal to awake time outside of the crib, and this gets to be more and more true as babies get older. So for a young newborn, awake time in the crib is probably pretty equal to awake time out of the crib. But let's say you have a 6-month-old. Your 6-month-old wakes up, is awake in the crib for 20 minutes before you get your 6-month-old out of bed. Does that mean your 6-month-old had 20 minutes of awake time before your 6-month-old even got out of bed? Probably not. What I typically did is I calculated time spent in the crib as half the amount of time. So if it was 20 minutes, I calculated that as 10 minutes. The reason is that time spent in a dark, quiet room is far less stimulating than time spent out of that dark, quiet room. So as soon as your baby gets out of that crib and is exposed to the family, to the pets, to the sounds, the sights, the smells, the activity, that's when the stimulation comes. So it's not purely time awake that affects how long your baby can be awake, but you also have all of the activities. How much physical stimulation is happening? How much mental stimulation is happening? How much noise is happening? All of these things affect how long your baby can be awake before going down for a nap. There's a lot of things to track, but you will get there. You will get it. You will get it down. It comes, I promise. So in saying this, not every single baby is going to be halftime. Not every single baby is going to be in the crib for 20 minutes and it be counted as 10 minutes and that be perfect. You'll probably have to do some experimenting. I say it all the time. You need to take notes. I have a book of logs that's super helpful to get you to track everything you need to track to figure out baby's perfect wake time length so you get amazing naps. I used it with all 4 of my babies. I slowly tweaked it with each baby till I got it down just right, but I used some version of this book with all 4 of my babies. I found it immensely helpful. So some babies will be minute for minute. As soon as they wake up, minute for minute counts. Some will be half time. So if you have 20 minutes, you take 10 off. Some might be more like you can take 15 off, and that was more like 5 minutes. Some might be it needs to be 15 minutes. You really need to do some experimenting and kind of figure out. And it'll vary because of your baby's personality. It'll vary because of the activity of your home. For example, an oldest baby doesn't have other siblings running around being crazy people. So it's much quieter typically for an oldest baby in the home than say your 4th baby. So your 4th baby gets out of bed and has 3 siblings making lots of noise and excitement and all sorts of fun. So that's going to be far more stimulating than a baby who is the oldest who gets out of the bed and it's basically like light and a little bit of action happening. A really natural question to have when you're considering calculating baby awake time is, how long should my baby be awake? This, like almost all things, varies from baby to baby and absolutely varies depending on baby's age. Some babies are low sleep needs, some are high sleep needs. Again, your home environment affects things. baby's age affects things. I have an entire blog post and a video dedicated to talking about optimal wake time lengths. So be sure to see that. I include data that I gathered from real parents, finding out what the average is. That really helps you have a starting point and you can work from there. I do have a free wake time length worksheet that will help you walk through everything so that you can figure out your baby's wake time length. You can sign up for that on my blog. I'll put a link in the description. When you sign up for that, you also sign up for a free wake time length email series where you get an email from me each day for, I can't remember exactly, 5 or 6 days, that helps you figure out wake time length, get it down perfectly. Also, again, you can get my book of vlogs that also helps you really get this down really well. Don't underestimate the power of getting wake time length down. Getting this down is really going to help you have your baby sleep really well and be happy during awake time, take great naps, sleep well at night. So for sure, make this a focus and a priority. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to drop them in the comments and refer to my blog and my YouTube channel for far more information. And as always, thanks for watching.